Welcome to the Profitable PR Pros community. I'm Jen Burson. I am the founder of Generation PR. We are a full-service PR and social media marketing agency based in Los Angeles. And I am also the founder of the Profitable PR Pros community and the creator of the Agency Accelerator and the Pitch Lab, and I am the host of the Pitching Powerhouse podcast. I wanted to talk today about retainers, how to set up your prices and stick to them, how to price your PR retainer services. This question comes up all the time. And what typically happens when you are just starting out, and if this resonates or you've done this or you are doing this, a lot of people will price their services out of fear, like the fear that the client will leave or go away because the rate is too high, or fear that they look greedy, or fear and maybe imposter syndrome that they don't deserve to make that much, or that it's going to look kind of shocking that maybe a smaller agency or a solo practitioner is asking for that retainer. Excuse me. And I know I did that in the beginning. I was like, well, that sounds really high. Like in your mind, you say, that sounds really high. So you want to discount it, or you want to cut it a little bit, closer to where you think the client can pay, even if you don't have an idea of what their budget is. We talk all about what you need to ask on sales calls. So one of the things is make sure you ask them if they have a budget. A lot of times they will tell you, and it'll be very helpful. So beginners and kind of even experienced PR pros don't know how to set up and price their retainer services, but this is the key to growing your business successfully, scaling, having retainers as your foundation for how you price your services versus project-based versus hourly. That's going to make this opportunity for you to grow and scale and be more profitable and work less. It's going to make that possible. So I want to share how to set up retainers, how to price them, and then answer some FAQs, frequently asked questions that all things PR retainers and pricing. So let's just jump in here. If you're brand new to setting up your retainers in your business, here is what you should do. And I'm thinking, how many steps do we have here? We have 3 steps, just kind of how you should think about it. The first thing is know your niche, like research and understand your niche. What is your specialty? Who do you serve and how do you serve them? We talk about niching down because that's the way to make more money. You will be a sought after expert, and it's a way to leverage expertise. It's a way to leverage contacts. This is how you get in a flow state and make the most money possible. So think if there is an industry standard for the kind of niche that you're working in. And this community is very helpful for that, especially the Agency Accelerator Plus on the coaching calls, because people share their rates on those calls. So you don't have to be in the dark anymore and kind of fly blind and wonder how everyone else is doing it. Because those days of like taking a stab in the dark, they're over. Because now you have a community that wants to support you and will help you with that information. Step 2 here is keep your level of experience in mind. So are you basing your rates on your level of experience? Are you brand new to PR? If you're just starting out, you're really looking to gain experience, and sometimes you should price accordingly. Not that you won't crush it or do a fantastic job, but consider offering somebody a lower rate to get started for a limited period. And that's the key. We talked about that on the coaching call, a limited period of time. They need to understand that this introductory rate does not go on and on and on, but it allows you to get in with them and start to work in that niche, start to develop some relationships, some case studies. This is how I very first got my start and how I carved out my expertise in the baby and kids space. And we are now a sought after PR agency that is focused on baby and kids, beauty and cosmetics. And that came from starting and having expertise in the baby and kid space for a reduced rate for a short period of time, because I ended up supporting my very first client for 11 years. Obviously, I couldn't keep them at the introductory rate, for very long, but we raised them several times. We also offered additional services. So unless you have a pre-established time frame for the introductory rate, or they want additional services, it's very hard to go back and just be like, my rate's more now. They'll say, why? Why? What, are you doing anything different? Why would you do it for this much then and now it's more? So it's just challenging. So limited time period, make sure they know. Step 3 is consider your own financials. What do you want to make in a year? What is your revenue goal? And then break that up over clients and retainers and consider how many clients you can serve at one time, how many hours you want to work, and figure out your profit margin. How much does it actually cost for you to provide these services? And if you bring in a team, how much will it cost for them to execute these services? So this requires you understanding in advance, having the foundation and infrastructure in your business set up in advance so you can price out your services knowing what it's going to cost for you to implement. That includes freelancers, employees. It includes any kind of costs that are associated that you maybe are sunk costs, like Cision or Meltwater or our database. Like, you can obviously spread that out over multiple clients, but other things too that you're going to be paying for, like reporting services, other subscription-based services, even the pitch lab. That's definitely something that you can have in your business that is going to serve multiple clients. Just those execution plans alone, it's $100 a month. It's less than $100 a month, but that's an expense in your business you need to build in and then have that as part of your expenses that offset your revenue, right? And then that's how you figure out your income. And then having it built in where you can then bring in a team and then have a pretty significant profit margin on the team executing. And I don't typically look at it like a percentage increase over what they're making. I try to get the retainers as high as possible and get the execution as low as possible. Meaning I will bring in my team that does our media outreach. They're all very seasoned. They're all 10 plus years, but I give them a lot of work, and I give them scale, like I'll scale because they'll give me a discount because I'm giving them volume. And so I'm able to get access to really great people for a reasonable rate because they are counting on us. And they also like working with me because I'm very hands off. I'm like, you do you. And especially to contractors, keep in mind, if they are independent contractors in California, they have to be corporations. So my individual independent contractors are incorporated, and you have to leave them alone. They have to be in charge of their own activities. And I have no problem with that. How long should retainers be? A retainer should be for a minimum of 6 months. Okay, so 6 months retainer. I like to approach every single relationship that I talk to, prospective clients, like they are going to be an ongoing partnership. I don't want people coming in for a quick shot in the arm. They just think it's a quick expense, just like, let's PR it. I hate when people say that. We're just going to PR it. It's not going to work. Like, we will tell them we are looking for ongoing partnerships. Our clients have the best results when we build momentum and we expand on that momentum. That's the goal, is to keep these relationships ongoing. You don't want to be looking for clients all the time. You bill on the first of the month for that month because we get paid in advance of services, regardless of results. And I know that sounds crazy, but that is an industry standard. And you can tell your clients that. That's how it's done. We always do 6 months. If you want to go after a year, you can say that you really want the momentum, that a lot of things are going to start to build, and you need the continuing partnership and not have interruptions in your services. And you can then also mention that the potential rate could increase at 6 months, but for a year they're locked in. And maybe as a courtesy, you'll grandfather them in at that rate, because they're committing for a long time, and that's a benefit, right? So, and then you want to bill monthly for your retainer services, no matter the length of the contract. So again, you bill on the first of the month up front before starting your services. That's to protect yourself, and monthly invoicing will protect your cash flow and sustain your business.